Persistence is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. The basis of persistence is the power of will. Willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pact. Men who accumulate great fortunes are generally known as cold-blooded and sometimes ruthless. Often they are misunderstood. What they have is willpower, which they mix with persistence and place back of their desires to ensure the attainment of their objectives. The majority of people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. A few carry on despite all opposition until they attain their goal. There may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the quality is to character of man what carbon is to steel. The building of a fortune generally involves the application of the entire 13 factors of this philosophy. These principles must be understood, they must be applied with persistence by all who accumulate money. This is how you can train yourself to be persistent. Persistence is a state of mind, therefore it can be cultivated. Like all states of mind, persistence is based upon definite causes, among them these: definiteness of purpose. Knowing what one wants is the first and perhaps the important step toward the development of persistence. A strong motive force forces one to surmount many difficulties. Desire. It is comparatively easy to acquire and to maintain persistence in pursuing the object of intense desire. Self-reliance. Belief in one's ability to carry out a plan encourages one to follow the plan through with persistence. Definiteness of plans. Organized plans, even though they may be weak and entirely impractical, encourage persistence. Accurate knowledge. Knowing that one's plans are sound based upon experience or observation encourages persistence. Guessing instead of knowing destroys persistence. Cooperation. Sympathy, understanding and harmonious cooperation with others tend to develop persistence. Willpower. The habit of concentrating one's thought upon the building of plans for the attainment of a definite purpose leads to persistence. Habit. Persistence is the direct result of habit. The mind observes and becomes a part of the daily experiences upon which it feeds. Fear, the worst of all the enemies, can be effectively cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. Everyone who has seen active service in war knows this. How to take your own persistence inventory. Before leaving the subject of persistence, take inventory of yourself and determine in what particular, if any, you are lacking in this essential quality. Measure yourself courageously point by point and see how many of the 8 factors of persistence you lack. The analysis may lead to discoveries that you will give a new grip on yourself. Here you will find the real enemies which stand between you and noteworthy achievement. Here you will find not only the symptoms indicating weakness of persistence, but also the deeply seated subconscious causes of this weakness. Study the list carefully and face yourself squarely if you really wish to know who you are and what you are capable of doing. These are the weaknesses which must be mastered by all who accumulate riches. First is to failure to recognize and to define clearly exactly what one wants. Second, procrastination with or without cause. Third, lack of interest in acquiring specialized knowledge. Fourth, indecision, the habit of passing the buck on all occasions instead of facing issues squarely. Fifth, the habit of relying upon alibis instead of creating definite plans for the solution of problems. Sixth, self-satisfaction. There is but little remedy for this affliction and no hope for those who suffer from it. Indifference usually reflected in one's readiness to compromise on all occasions rather than meet opposition and fight it. The habit of blaming others for one's mistakes and accepting unfavorable circumstances as being unavoidable. Weakness of desire due to neglect in the choice of motives that impel action. Willingness, even eagerness to quit at the first sign of defeat. Lack of organized plans placed in writing where they may be analyzed. The habit of neglecting to move on ideas or to grasp opportunity when it presents itself. Wishing instead of willing. The habit of compromising with poverty instead of aiming at riches. General absence of ambition to be, to do, to own. Searching for all the shortcuts to riches, trying to get without giving a fair equivalent, usually reflected in the habit of gaming, endeavoring to drive sharp bargains. Fear of criticism, failure to create plans and to put them into action because of what other people will think, do, or say. This enemy belongs at the head of the list because it generally exists in one's subconscious mind where its presence is not recognized. How to develop persistence. There are four simple steps which lead to the habit of persistence. They call for no great amount of intelligence, no particular amount of education, and but little time or effort. The necessary steps are: Step 1. A definite purpose backed up by burning desire for its fulfillment. Step 2. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. 3. A mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Step 4. A friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage one to follow through both plan and purpose. These four steps are essential for success in all walks of life. The entire purpose of 13 principles of this philosophy is to enable one to take these four steps as a matter of habit. These are the steps by which one may control one's economic destiny. They are the steps that lead to freedom and independence of thought, that leads to riches in small or great quantities. They lead the way to power, fame, and worldly recognition. They are the four steps which guarantee favorable breaks, that convert dreams into physical realities. They also lead mastery of fear, discouragement, and indifference. There is a magnificent reward for all who learn to take these four steps. It is the privilege of writing one's own ticket and of making life yield whatever price is asked.